Okay, students, today we'll be discussing, or rather, we'll be doing the practical on PCR primer designing. As we have already discussed the theoretical aspect of primer designing in the last class, and we now know what are the ideal properties of a pair of primers which are used for amplification of a particular segment of DNA or RNA. And we have also discussed about the common online and offline tools which are commonly used for primer designing. And today, practically, we'll deal with the primer designing. And for that, we'll be targeting to design a pair of specific primers against a common gene which is present in all pathogenic Salmonella species. Rather, we should say Salmonella serotypes. That is called INVA. It is an invasive protein produced by almost all the pathogenic Salmonella. So as you know, Salmonella is divided into two species, Salmonella enterica and Salmonella bongori. All the pathogenic Salmonella are included under the same species, Salmonella enterica. Under Salmonella enterica, there are 6 subspecies. Out of them, Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, is the largest subspecies of Salmonella, and this consists of all the Salmonella pathogens which can cause disease in animals and man. So INVA gene has been found to be commonly present in all Salmonella. Earlier, it was thought to be present only in few, and although it is a virulence factor or a gene which produces a type 3 secretion system component, but this has been found to be present in almost all pathogenic Salmonella. So today we shall try to design specific primers against this particular gene so that we can use them for amplification of INVA gene of any unknown strains of Salmonella so that we can identify them. And for this purpose, we'll be using the online tool PrimerBlast. As we already know that PrimerBlast is an online tool wherein the Primer3 software is used for primer designing. So now we'll go to the NCBI website to download the INVA gene sequence. So we are going to the browser, and then in the NCBI website, we'll go to gene database because we want to download a complete gene sequence of INVA. So we'll click gene, and then in this space we'll write INVA together. You try to follow me the steps in your laptop so that you can also side by side learn practically. So we are going to download INVA gene sequence of Salmonella. You may or may not write Salmonella here because this will lead us to the various sequences of INVA of different Salmonella serotypes. Then click search. Okay. So the gene database of NCBI has got a number of INVA sequences. So we'll go to this number 2 sequence. This is INVA gene sequence of a strain of Salmonella, which is Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, serovar typhimurium, strain LT2. Because this strain LT2 of Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, serovar typhimurium is known as the type strain of Salmonella. This was the first completely genome sequence Salmonella, which was uploaded to the NCBI website. Okay, so from that genome sequence, the gene has been identified, and this will give us the gene sequence of INBA. Now we have selected this. Then either you can display it or you can download it to your computer. Okay, we will not download it, just to click on INBA here so that we can display the gene. Okay, you see this is the INBA type 3 sequencing system. It is a component of the type 3 sequencing system. And this is the locus of the gene. Now, as we discussed earlier, how to download the sequence of the gene. For that, we shall have to go down and find here, you see, genomic sequence here, reference assembly, genomic. Under that, the sequence is there. And then there are various options for display: GenBank, FASTA, sequence viewer. We want to have the FASTA sequence, so we'll click on FASTA. After coming to this reference assembly of genomic sequence, we will click on FASTA. So then it will give us the FASTA sequence, nucleotide sequence in the FASTA format. So this is the part of the genome sequence that represent the INBA gene. Okay, this is from the genome sequence of Typhimurium LT2 strain. Okay, so this is the entire gene sequence. So this is starting from the position 3040471 and continues up to 3038407. If you want to know how many nucleotides are there in the gene, that means what is the size of the gene, then you are to subtract the first figure from the second. Then you can find out what is the length of the sequence. But of course, you have to add 1 because, as I said, the first and the last nucleotide will also be included. So this is the sequence. Now, this is the template of INBA gene, which we will be using for designing our primer. Okay. So now we shall select this sequence so that we can take it to the primer blast to use as a template for primer designing. We have selected the sequence and then we copy it by clicking Ctrl+C, or you can right click and click copy, same thing. So we have copied the sequence. The entire sequence has been copied. Now we'll go to Primer Blast. So we open a new window, window here. That means a tab in the browser, and then we write here Primer Blast because we want to go to Primer Blast of NCBI. Okay, Primer Blast NCBI. We'll click. Now this is the link for Primer Blast. So this is the home page of Primer Blast online tool. Could you follow? In your laptop also it is coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the home page of the Primer Blast online tool. Now this is the space in which you are to upload the sequence against which you want to design the primers. So that means our template sequence, whatever it may be, we have to upload here. Either we can upload the entire sequence, or you can write the accession number of the sequence as per the GenBank data. If you go back to the GenBank sequence, you see accession number is here, NC_003197.2. So this is the accession number. If you write the accession number, the Primer Blast tool will automatically pick up that particular sequence from the GenBank database. That is possible. But when you are having the complete gene sequence, you can paste it here. Or if you have already downloaded the sequence to your computer, you are trying to design primers against a sequence which is already in your computer, then you can choose the file and browse it and bring the file here. So any approach can be taken so that you can upload the target sequence against which you want to design primers. So this is a space where you have to upload the sequence. Now we have uploaded the sequence. We'll not touch it as it is. We'll keep it like that. Now we'll go to the parameter setting. We'll set the parameters required. Now you see here in this part of the window, you find spaces for forward primer and reverse primer. Suppose instead of the gene sequence, you have uploaded the entire genome sequence, or you have uploaded the accession number of the genome sequence as it is. Now your target is to design primers only for a particular specific segment of the genome sequence, a particular gene. So in that case, you are to define the target by writing here what is the specific point at which the gene starts, the position, location you are to mention here. Say, as I already said, that this gene starts from 304007 or some sort of position like that. You have to write that. Where it ends, it will come to the last part of the reverse primer. Similarly, if you want to specify the part of the gene sequence which should be allowed as a template for forward primer, and part of another part of the gene sequence which should be used as a template for reverse primer, if you are specific enough, then you can specify it like this by writing the positions here. But here in our case, we will not do that because we have taken only the gene sequence and we would like to use the entire gene sequence as a template. We don't have any specific target part of this gene to be used as a template. So we'll keep it blank. Then at the same time, there are two spaces here. You see, here, these two spaces are provided so that you can choose whether you want to design both the primers or at one of the primers, either forward or reverse. Sometimes what happens, suppose first you design a pair of primers, but out of them, after evaluation, you found that the forward primer is okay. It is having all the essential optimal properties of the primer, but the reverse primer is lacking some ideal properties. Then you may not go for redesigning both the primers, but in the second attempt, you may keep the forward primer intact, and by keeping that forward primer, you can design only the reverse primer for a particular target sequence. In that case, you are to provide the sequence of the forward primer already designed for the forward primer. So this sequence you have to upload here. Similarly, if you want to design only the forward primer, then you are to upload here the sequence of the reverse primer. So in that case, the system will design only one primer, either forward or reverse. But here now, this is our new approach. We are trying to design both the primers together, a pair of primers. So we'll keep both these spaces blank. Now, next parameter, it is asking PCR product size. So minimum product size, it is showing by default 70, maximum product size 1000. I think I need not explain why it is so, because 70 is minimum, because sometimes there may be a tendency of the primers to make intra or intermolecular interaction, so that there are this formation of primer dimers. Already we explained primer dimer, we already know. Primer dimers, because they are formed by short sequences of the primers, their sizes will be always less than 50 pp. Because the number of nucleotides in a primer is only around, say, maximum of 25 to 30, not more than that. So if the primer dimer forms, then the size of the product, faulty product, primer dimer product, will be less than 70 or less than 50. So if you take your specific target, the product size to be less than 50 or less than 70, sometimes you may be confused when a product size of less than 70 is coming, whether this is a specific product for the amplified gene sequence or whether it is a primer dimer. We do not want the primer dimer, we want the amplified product. So to avoid confusion with primer dimer, our product should not be targeted to be less than 70 pp. So this is always less than 70 is not allowed. Optimal product size is minimum 70. Similarly, maximum product size, it is showing 1000 because in conventional PCR, we use the Taq DNA polymerase. As I discussed earlier, the fidelity or the proofreading capacity of all polymerases are having limitation. The Taq DNA polymerase usually causes a mistake or a mutation in every 1000 BP segment it produces. So therefore, if the product size is very long, then there is a chance that the amplified products will be having some mutated sequences. So that is why for diagnostic PCR, we normally, as I said, restrict our product size to around say 500 to 600 BP or near about that. So let us now target, say for example here, let us target minimum 300 and maximum 500. Let us take our target. In this case, for INV A gene sequence, we are targeting to produce a pair of primers which will be giving us a product of the amplified gene sequence, which will be restricted within 300 to 500 BP. Then next, it is asking number of primers to design. So basically, by default, it is 10. Keep it 10, no problem. That means 10 pairs of primers will be designed out of them so that you can select the best primers. Then primer melting temperature. As we discussed earlier, primer melting temperature is a very important property of a good primer. And as I said, that optimal primer melting temperature is between 52 to 58 degrees Celsius. But of course, by default, it is setting from 57 to 63. But let us go to our optimal requirement. So I prefer it to be 52 minimum and 58 maximum. But it should never be targeted beyond 63 or 65. Okay. Now we will be taking maximum 58. So if it is minimum 55, maximum 58, so optimum should be in between the two. So let us take it as 55. So our specification that the melting temperature of both the primers should not be less than 52, should not be more than 58, and preferably optimum should be around 55. Then maximum TM difference, as I said, mismatch should not be allowed 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. When both the primers should not vary in melting temperature by more than 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. So here by default it is setting as 3. Let us take it as 3. Then next parameter is exon-intron selection. So this will be important if we are using a gene sequence of eukaryote where there are both introns and exons. Because as you know, in case of eukaryotes, the gene sequences are not contiguous coding sequences. So coding sequences are intervened by certain non-coding sequences which are called introns. So the primers are designed normally against the exon sequences only, coding sequences only. So you have to specify the exon junctions if you are taking with certain eukaryotic DNA for primer designing. But in our case, we are dealing with a bacterial DNA. So that's why there is no question of setting the exon junction, because this does not arise. In case of bacteria, the entire gene sequence is a contiguous coding sequence. So we'll leave it as it is. We'll not touch it. Next, it is asking database, which database to be used for designing. By default, it is showing RefSeq messenger RNA database. It's a referred sequence messenger RNA database. We are not going to take this database because this will not contain the gene sequences that we want to use as templates. So what we will do, we'll click here, drop down menu, then we will select NR. NR means, as I already said, NR stands for non-redundant sequence database. That means it's a common sequence database where there is no redundancy or duplication. So NR database, we'll select that. Then organism, by default, it is showing Homo sapiens, human. But our organism is Salmonella. Okay, so we will write Salmonella here. By just omitting Homo sapiens, we will write Salmonella. And there are many options coming in Salmonella because many different strains are there. We will go to Salmonella enterica subspecies enterica, because we want to use this as template, because we know that all the pathogenic Salmonella belongs to this particular subspecies. So if we like this, it is going to have many different variants. We'll select one, say Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, typhimurium. This is one. Number 7, I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is a Salmonella enterica serovar typhimurium. Let us click this. Okay, this we are taking as a template from the database for designing the primers. It will be tested against that. Then we will not change these parameters. Let it be as per default. We will go to advanced parameters. There is one option in the below get primers. There is one option, advanced parameters. Click on advanced parameters. More parameters will be displayed after clicking with advanced parameters. If you look into them, there are many different options. We will not change all the options here, but certain specific important parameters will change. Say, for example, primer size. Primer size. This is important for us. Here, the default primer size minimum is 15, maximum is 25, and optimum is 20. But as we discussed, that our preference, mostly it is between 18 to 22, as I discussed in the last class. So let the optimum be same, but I'm restricting the size from 18 to 22. First, let us try to have our primers within this optimal value of the primer size. If we get it, then it's okay. If we do not get it, then we can lengthen it a little bit further. We can come down to 15, we can go up to 25. But best is to specify the optimal primer size, 18 to 22, and the optimum being at 20. Then it is asking primer GC content. As I already said in the last class, most of the online and offline tools will give you a default value of 20 minimum and 80 maximum GC percentage. But our preference is from 40 to 60. Let us restrict to 40 to 60. Then GC clamp, it is showing 0, no clamp, but we prefer presence of 1 or 2 C or Z in among the last 5 nucleotides in the 3' end. If you remember the ideal primer parameter, this is one of the important ideal primer parameter. At the 3' end of the primer sequence, among the last 5 nucleotides, there should be presence of at least 1 or 2 Z or C, and that is called GC clamp. But it should not be more than 3. Then we will leave other parameters intact, we will not change them. And then we will directly go to get primers. So get primers means we are giving the command to the software to design primers. After we click that, that means the signal will go to the NCBI website so as to use the primer blast software to design primers against the template that we have uploaded using the parameters we have already set. Okay, now click on get primer. Now, depending upon the speed of your internet connectivity, it may take variable time to get the result of primer designing. If you have got a good connectivity, then you can get the results within 1 or 2 minutes. But if your connectivity is not good, then it may take some time. Let us wait for some time. So now it will show us 10 pairs of primers designed based on the primers, the sequence that we have uploaded. But one intermediate step has come, you see. A tool for finding specific primers, the primer blast, as we know. So here, finding primers specific to your PCR template using primer tree, as I said, and blast. It is time, but it has given one window here where it is asking for your intervention. You see, it is written here, your PCR template is highly similar to the following sequences from the search database. To increase the chance of finding specific primers, please view the list below and select all sequences within the given sequence ranges that are intended or allowed targets. Okay, that means the system is confused now because it has found sequences with high level of similarity to our template sequence present in the NCBI database, where there are a number of sequences are there which have got high level of similarity to our template sequence. So it is therefore asking us against which particular strain or against which particular sequence in the database we want to produce our primer pair. Now, our target today is to design the primer pairs for amplification of INV-A gene to identify all Salmonella, because we are taking it as a Salmonella specific gene. As I said, this is all mostly found in all pathogenic Salmonella belonging to Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica. We are taking LT2 strain as the template. Now, in that case, if we want to specify the primers so that we can use them for identification of any Salmonella, then we shall have to click all. Okay, we shall have to click here all, so that our template will be used to design the primer pair. Then after designing, it will test our primers for its specificity and sensitivity by comparing with all the different INV strains, INV sequences of Salmonella enterica synovar typhimurium present in the database. But now, if we click all, this is the so to say ideal situation where we can produce a primer pair which will be having high level of sensitivity and specificity against all the Salmonella enterica typhimurium strains. But if we do this, it will take a lot of time because the blast has to be completed against each of the gene sequences present in the database. So it will take a lot of time. So to reduce the time requirement for today's practical, because all of them are having 100% identity. You see, identity percentage is 100%. So all of them are exactly same sequence. So blasting has to be done against all the sequences. It will take a lot of time. Therefore, what we do, for purpose of our convenience, we will not click all. Rather, we'll click none first. Means we will not select anything, but we will select only one, so that it takes only less time to do the primer designing. Okay, we will select any one strain against which we want to. Suppose there is one strain, ATCC strain. ATCC strains are standard cultures which are present in American type culture system, where most of the standard strains of all organisms are preserved, and you can also borrow it from ATCC, and that can be used for any type of research experiments. So let us click this ATCC strain. You see this one, CP03423.0.1. This is Salmonella enterica subspecies enterica synovar typhimurium strain ATCC 14028. Okay, we have selected this. You can select any other also, no problem, because this is only a trial that we are making. Okay, I have selected this as a standard culture. Now we'll be clicking submit, so that only one particular sequence is taken into account now for designing the primer. But as I said, ideal procedure will be to select all and then specifically design the primers which can identify any one of the sequences present in the database, so that its sensitivity is higher. Now again, depending upon the speed of connectivity, it will take variable time. Every few seconds, the system will automatically get refreshed. And whenever the primers will be ready for download, it will be shown. You can also refresh yourself by clicking on check, or you can wait till it refreshes and gives you the primer pairs. My system, it has already come. Let me explain. So there are two views.
Okay.
Okay. There is one graphical view of the primer pairs, the upper one, and there is detailed primer reports. Okay. So this graphical view is showing the position. Excuse me. Showing the position of the primers. You see the red line represents the template. Red line represents the template, and these blue lines represent the position of the primers. These are the primers. Okay. So they are named as primer 1, primer 2, like that. So they are the preferential primers as per the ideal properties of the primers. The system has listed them preferentially. Okay. Primer 1 pair, this is the most preferable primer based on the properties. Okay. If you place your cursor over it, then you will get the sequence and the properties of the primers. And if you want to go to the details of the, now you see the primer pair 1, this is almost at the center. Primer pair 2 towards the right, means toward 3' in. Primer pair 6 is towards the 5' in. So this is not necessary that the primer pair should orient to a particular end of the template, but conventionally primers are preferred if they are oriented towards the 3' in most commonly. But let us take the help of the preferential list provided by the system itself. Has it come to your desktop? Is it coming, students?
No, sir.
Not yet. So your system is even slower than me.
Yes, sir. Network.
There is a network congestion. পল্লবী আইছেন নাই তোমার তাত
আইছে স্যার
আচ্ছা in the meantime let me explain, so till then it will come. So you see here, if I go to the detailed primer report, this is the first primer pair. Okay, so in the first primer pair, these are the two primers, forward primer and reverse primer. First we will see the properties of the primers, then we will see whether it is acceptable to us or not. You see the primer length, it is showing as 2020 both. It's okay, fine, good. Then the product length is 394. We have set between 300 to 500, so it is between that, so it's okay, fine. Then TM value for both of them are around 55, the optimum TM value that we have set. Okay, fine. GC percentage is also between 40 to 60. Okay, fine. Self-complementarity, some complementarity remains here and there. We will test them with some softwares. We'll evaluate them further. Then if we see the sequences and we look for the other properties of the primer, like presence of run, presence of dinucleotide repeats, etc., or the GC clamp, what do you see? So GC clamp, if we see in the last 5 nucleotides at the 3' end, there should be presence of 1 or 2 G or C. Up to 3 we can allow, more than 3 is not usually suitable. So here you see it is okay, forward primer is okay, there are 3 G or C, but in the reverse primer there are 4 G or C. Not a very good ideal property. Similarly here again, runs, you see there are 5 T, but as I said, this kind of single nucleotide repeat should not be allowed more than 4. But this is having 5. So reverse primer does not seem to be a very good primer because it does not have all the ideal properties. But the forward primer is okay. The dinucleotide repeat also, it is not there in both the primers. So it seems that the forward primer in the primer pair 1 is okay, but the reverse primer is having some difficulties. For the time being, let us keep aside this primer pair. We go to the second pair. Let us see if it is having more ideal properties. So go down, then find the primer pair 2. So this is the primer pair 2, where we find both the primers are having length of 20 BP. Then it seems that other parameters are okay. 55 melting temperature, GC percentage 45 for both, 387 product length. But again, here also it seems that the second primer is, the reverse primer is having 4 G or C at D3 prime N, and there are 5 T's. Again, this is not a good primer. Not ideal. I'm not telling that it cannot be used, but it is not having all the ideal properties intact. Okay, let us go to the third. If we do not find any good primer pair, then we will go consider the number 1, no problem. Okay, third primer pair. Here 20 length, then 55 TM value, 45 GC percentage, okay, fine. 341 is the product length. Then see the first primer, last 5 nucleotide, 3 are G or C. Here also 3 G or C, okay, fine. 3 T, but not more than 3. The run is not there. Here also run is not there. Dinucleotide repeat is also not there in any of the 2. So this pair seems to be a better primer, depending upon the primer properties that we have. Okay. And another thing we are looking for, that is specificity to different Salmonella typhimurium strains. You see, these are different data sequences from the database against which it is doing the sequence alignment, and found that this primer sequence, forward primer sequence, is having complete identity to the sequence of Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, Syrover typhimurium strain SL7207, one strain. Okay, these dots represent complete identity, 100% identity. Similarly, reverse primer is also 100% identical. Second database sequence is also showing 100% identity. Third one is also showing 100% identity. So most of the sequences in the database are showing 100% identity to this primer pair. So it seems that this primer pair is a better, because it is showing 100% identity to most of the sequences in the database representing Salmonella typhimurium. Okay, so for me, the primer pair 3 seems to be having most of the ideal properties. Now, we will not get satisfied with this evaluation, but we will test the specificity, sensitivity, and the properties of the primer by using some additional tools. For that, first of all, we will select the forward primer of the selected primer pair. Here, primer pair 3 we have selected. So forward primer will select, double click on the primer, it will be selected, then Control C means copy. Then open a new tab. Open a new tab, and then without closing this tab, you should open a new tab, because you will be requiring these sequences later on. You'll have to go back. So in this new tab, we will now go to one online tool by which we can evaluate our design primers. So the tool is known as OligoCalc, OLIGOCALC. That means oligonucleotide calculators. So this is a primer evaluation tool by which you can evaluate or study the properties of design primers. All primers are oligonucleotides, so that is why it is called OligoCalc. So if you browse OligoCalc in your browser, so the second option, you see OligoCalc, oligonucleotide properties calculator. This is our option that you will go to, second option. So this is the home page of the oligo calculator or oligonucleotide property calculator. Here in this space, we'll upload our primer sequence, which has been designed. So already we have copied the forward primer. We'll click here, Control V. The forward primer has been uploaded. Okay. Then we'll click Calculate. Calculate. So immediately it has calculated most of the parameters required to us. Length 20, molecular weight 6083, GC content 45%. Many other parameters have been set here, including the basic TM value 49.7, salt adjusted TM value 56.4. As I said, we will go for the salt adjusted TM value because that is important, as in the PCR buffer there will be presence of different salts and that will increase the TM value of the primer. So we will take into account the salt adjusted TM value 56.4. It's okay, fine, because our requirement is between 52 to 58. So these parameters seem to be okay for the forward primer. We will again check for self-complementarity. Okay, if we click here, we can check for self-complementarity. You see, potential hairpin formation, none. 3' complementarity, none. All potential self-annealing sites marked in red, none. That means this primer is not having any tendency for intermolecular interactions or intramolecular interaction. So this is a good primer pair. A good primer. Forward primer is good primer. Only you have tested forward primer. Okay. So up to self-complementarity we have started. We can also see by doing a blast for its sensitivity and specificity. We can go for blast directly by clicking here. If we click here, blast, automatically it will lead to a blast by using the NCBI blast. So it will automatically link to the NCBI database and do a blast. If you click here, view report, then depending upon completion of your blast, it will show your report. You see, the report has already come. So this is the report of blast, you see. It is showing high level of similarity to a number of sequences, you see, all 100%, and all are Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, different pseudobars. As I said, INV is not restricted to Salmonella typhimurium alone. This is a common gene present in all pathogenic Salmonella belonging to Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, various pseudobars. That is why it is showing 100% identity to most of the Salmonella sequences that are present in database. You see, so lot many sequences present in database are showing 100% similarity. So this is good. That means we wanted that we should be able to prepare a primer pair which can identify Salmonella belonging to pathogenic pseudobars. So this is okay. So we'll close this blast window. We have so far tested the forward primer. We shall have to again test the reverse primer by the same process. So for that, we go back to the primer blast tab. Go back to the primer blast tab. This time you select the reverse primer by double clicking on it. Okay. Then copy it, Control C. Come back to OligoCalc. Then in place of the previous forward primer, you have to replace it by the reverse primer. Already you have copied. So paste it in this window. Then again by the same process, calculate. So it is showing the length is 20, GC percent is 45% as expected. Then salt adjusted TM value 56.4, exactly same as that of the previous one. So forward and reverse primer both are having same TM value. This is very good because we do not want difference of more than 3, but they are exactly same. Then check for self-complementarity. So potential hairpin formation, it is showing one region where there is a probability of hairpin formation. You see, so these 5 nucleotides in red, ATTAC, have got a tendency to join with another part of the same primer, same forward primer, GTAATT. But as I said, this type of hairpin formation basically, if it is not there, this is the best primer. But if it is there, you should see if this contains more than 3 Z or C. Now it contains only 1 C, here also only 1 Z, not more than 1 Z or C within the complementary segments of the primer. So we may ignore this potential hairpin formation in this particular primer. But if we find a ideal primer without having this tendency, then it would have been better. So for that, we can check the other primer pairs also. We have tested only 3, but we can test 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 primer pairs have been designed. So for actual experiment, we said we may go for others to find out a better primer. But now, for demonstration purpose, we will ignore this hairpin formation because this does not have any Z or C more than 1. So we will take it as a acceptable default defect of the primer. Then we will go for blast with this reverse primer once again to see whether it is specific and sensitive. So after a few minutes, it will show you the display the result of the blast depending upon the speed connectivity, speed of your internet connectivity. Of course, this will be a good primer because already we have seen in the primer blast result that the reverse primer is also showing high level of similarity to a number of different nucleotide sequences present in the database. They are showing 100% identity. Already it has been shown by the primer blast. So we expect that it will be showing high level of similarity to a number of different sequences present in the database. So it is taking more time. Let it come in between. So let us go back to our primer blast sequences. So now we have used OligoCalc for further testing the parameters of the primers, whether they are having the ideal properties or not. This is one way. But normally in bioinformatics, we do not trust only in one particular online or offline tool for testing anything. Normally we should apply more than one options so that you can better test the sensitivity, specificity, or the properties of the primers. So here we have used OligoCalc. Let us try to test the primer properties with another online tool, because not a single tool may be completely ideal. So it is always preferable to use more than one tool for testing the primer specificity and sensitivity or the primer properties. So for that, we'll start a new tab. In this new tab, we'll go to another tool that is called PCR Primer Stats. PCR Primer STATS. Stats means statistics. PCR Primer Stats, or simply if you write Primer Stats, it will come. Primer Statistics. Okay. So this is a tool developed by bioinformatics.org. So here you click PCR Primer Stats. PCR Primer Statistics means it shows the properties of the primer. Here, this is the window where you are to upload the primer sequences. We are to upload the sequences in the FASTA format. So let us first delete these sequences already there in the window. We have deleted them, or you can just click clear. It will click clear everything. Then go back to the primer blast. Bring the sequences. First, let us bring the forward primer, Control C. Come back to PCR Primer Stat. Here you are to write in the FASTA format. So you should write with a greater than sign. Greater than sign. Then write, it is a forward primer, so write forward. Okay. Come to the next line. Then paste it. So this is the presentation in which in the FASTA format, we are displaying the forward primer sequence. So it should be shown in this way. Okay. Then Come to the next line, greater than sign, then write reverse. We will bring the reverse sequence here. Next line, then go back to primer blast, bring the reverse sequence, copy it, then paste it here below reverse. Okay, both forward and reverse primer can be uploaded together in this particular window. Now you click submit. So in no time it will display the result. You see, if you increase the window, you see it is for forward primer. Sequence length is 20. Base content G4, A4, T7, C5, others 0. Okay, GC content 45, molecular weight is this much. Then all these other parameters are there. Salt adjusted TM value 45. But here TM value is shown to be different from that, which was shown earlier. Then neighbor joining TM value, warning, it is showing TM is greater than 58. This is one inherent, so to say, defect or rather problem with this particular tool. It shows the TM value greater than 58 in most of the cases, but whereas in fact it is not so. But here again, hairpin information of the reverse primer is also shown here in this particular place. It was shown by the oligocalc also. Same thing it is showing, but there is only one C or G. If it contains more than one C or G, or rather it is 3 C or G, it should be never be considered. But now it is having only one C, we may ignore it. So we have tested the primer parameters by using two different tools. Here also you see it is showing single base run pass, dinucleotide base run pass, length pass, percentage GC pass, GC clamp pass, self-annealing pass, hairpin formation pass. Means it has got all the properties which are ideal except for TM value. But as I said, this parameter is not trustable with this particular tool. So we will take it that this primer pair is having all the ideal properties. So although, as I already say, that it is having one little defect, that is, there is a probability of primer dimer formation by hairpin formation within the forward primer. But of course, this does not have more than one G or C, so this may not create a lot of problems. So let us take it granted that this is a good primer. Although in practice, when we go for research, we shall have to find for even better primer pairs without having this kind of defects. Now our primer is ready for PCR. Now before taking it to the real PCR in the laboratory, before doing it, you have to order for the PCR sequence synthesis, and the supplier will give you the PCR sequences. It will take around 1 week to 15 days time, depending upon where you are. And then after that, you will do the PCR with the help of very costly biologicals and reagents. So if your primer pairs are not having the required sensitivity and specificity, even after using it, you may fail to get the required amplification. So that is why, to minimize the failure, the scientists have also designed another platform in computational biology, wherein you can use the in silico method for testing the specificity and sensitivity of the primer's design. So that kind of a simulation of PCR reaction using in silico platform is called in silico PCR, as we discussed in the last class theoretically. So we'll go for in silico PCR first for testing the sensitivity and specificity of the primer's design, so that before taking into the actual lab experiment, we can be further sure that these primer pairs will be successfully amplifying our target sequence. So for that, we'll go for another tab in the browser. Then this time we'll go for in silico PCR. In silico PCR. So we will go for the second option, in silico PCR amplification. In silico.ehu.es, this particular site. Okay. Click here. So this is the front window, wherein you have got several options of various bacterial sequences which are already embedded in this database. If you are going for in silico PCR amplification against certain bacterial sequences, this is a very good platform because it contains all the sequences, genomic sequences already available in the NCGBI database embedded into this platform. So you are to select the particular bacteria, and then if it is in alphabetical list, you are to select the particular bacteria and can do the in silico PCR amplification against that particular bacteria. If you are using primer sequences designed against viral sequences, then you can click here, PCR against viral sequences. Similarly, viral sequences are also embedded in this platform. It will, from that list, you can also go back to the particular viral sequence against which you are to testify the sensitivity and specificity of the primers design. If you are designing primers against certain target sequences which are not included in this platform, they are not bacterial or viral sequences, but they are eukaryotic sequences, or maybe mitochondrial DNA sequences, then you are to use this option, user sequences. Okay. If you click here, then you will be allowed to upload sequence. Okay. You can click here, choose file. So if you have got a file already in your computer, you can browse it and upload it. Okay. So that against a particular template or particular target sequence, you can see the sensitivity and specificity of your primer design. So we will not go to that because we will be using prokaryotic sequences, bacterial sequences. We are going back into the home page where there are bacterial sequences here. So we'll select Salmonella from here, you see. So it is in alphabetical list. So we'll go to S. Drop down menu will be used. So here there is a Salmonella. Okay. We'll select Salmonella. Click on Salmonella, then click next step. Okay. Next step. So now these are the two spaces where we are to upload our design primers. Primer 1 is the forward primer. Primer 2 is the reverse primer. Okay. First we will click on primer 1. Go back to primer blast. Select primer 1, primer pair 3, the forward sequence, forward primer sequence, copy it, then paste it here. Okay. Similarly, click on the second space, go back to primer blast, select the reverse primer, copy it, then come back to in silico PCR, paste it here. So both forward and reverse primers have been uploaded. Now it is asking, what is the target organism? Target microorganism by default it is showing Salmonella bongori, but bongori is non-pathogenic. We want Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica. There are many different serovars. Now, if our aim is to only to test the specificity and sensitivity against only one serovar, then we are to select that particular serovar sequence as the template or the target. But now our target in today's experiment is to design a primer pair which can identify any Salmonella belonging to any different serovar. So what we will do, we will go to the end. There is one option, apply to all Salmonella. Okay, apply to all Salmonella. Let us see how many different serovars can be identified by our selected sequences of primers which have been designed. Okay, so we'll click apply to all Salmonella. Why we have selected apply to all Salmonella? Because we want to see whether it can identify a number of different Salmonella or not. But our template, what we have used was only against one particular strain, but we will be testing it against all Salmonella. Then it is having some other parameters. We'll not go into that at this point of time. We'll leave it by default. Then we'll click amplify. It will take only 15 seconds time to do the amplification. And it will show us the result in the form of the gel picture, as if it is producing certain bands in the gel, agarose gel. You see, it's a very nice expected result. In the first three sequence, against first three sequences, it is showing no band, no band, no band, no band. Then the fourth sequence onwards, it is showing presence of one band. You see, it is showing the picture as if it is showing in the agarose gel, the band formation. Okay, against all of them, starting from 4 up to 45, in all they are showing a single band. No non-specific banding is there. Very good. Means it is showing only one band. Then all bands are 341 BP. You see, all bands are 341 BP. Below the length is also shown. So it is so nice. See, in one attempt, we could produce a primer pair against invasive A protein sequence, gene sequence, INBA, that it could produce a single band when it is tested against all the sequences of Salmonella, irrespective of different serotype. So this is our ideal thing. But for the first three, there was no band formation. Why? Because first three are, what are they? We'll go to this list. Number 1 is Salmonella bongori. Number 2 is Salmonella bongori. Number 3 is Salmonella enterica subspecies arizoni. So subspecies arizoni is not our target. Our target is subspecies enterica. Okay, that's good. All others are Salmonella enterica belonging to different serovars. Okay, typhi, typhimurium, then many others. Paratyphi, puloram, Paratyphi A, B, Newport, Zeviana, Heidelberg, Galinearum, Dublin, Enteritis, Bovi morbificans, Berylli, Egona, Coleri Suis. Against all, it is showing specificity. So this is so good a primer. In one attempt, single attempt, we could produce a good primer pair, which will not show any band formation against non-pathogenic Salmonella like bongori or arizoni, but it will show a band against all different Salmonella, irrespective of any serovar. So that means this particular pair of primer against INBA, now it is regarded as a good primer pair design, and we can trust it, and we can send it for synthesis to the suppliers, and they will prepare the synthetic primers sequences as per our order, and they will provide us, and then we will use them for actual experiment in PCR. Then we can expect that we'll be getting good results. So if we do this primer designing followed by primer evaluation and then in silico PCR by following the ideal procedure strictly, then we can always expect success in our PCR reaction. So for setting a new PCR reaction, for standardization of a new PCR, we should always very carefully do the primer designing by following all these different procedures. So I think it is clear to you. So if you do that, the chances of failure will be very, very less. Unnecessarily, there will be no wastage of time. Unnecessarily, there will be no wastage of money. Because if you do not design the primers by taking utmost care in primer designing, you may ultimately order for the primers, which will be costly, time consuming, and then in the external experiment, you'll be doing it repeatedly several times to see whether the typical band pattern can be achieved or not, and finally, it will be a failure. So, but in the meantime, you'll be losing your precious time by 2 to 3 months. So that is why our advice is to spend, if necessary, 3 hours, 4 hours, or a whole day in designing primer by using computational method, rather than hurriedly preparing the primers and ordering them and taking them to the actual wet lab, so that you do not lose your precious time and money and the resources you have. It is always advisable to do primer designing very cautiously by following the precise procedure as we have discussed today. So thank you very much for your patient hearing and participation.